Good morning and welcome back to Adventure Vehiculist. This is my YouTube channel. My name is Sam. And this is my shitbox Ute. You guys have seen that on the channel quite a bit. A month ago, I posted a video, so you want to buy a mini truck. And I talked about the mini truck, the Nissan pickup that I had bought. And that video went crazy. Over 1,000 views. My best video to date. Pretty stoked on that. I wanted to follow it up. And that weekend, and the next weekend after I posted that video, I started making another video on it. I fixed the lights, the wiring, put a new battery in it, did a bunch of work to it, cleaned it up. And in the process of making that video, before I'd even edited it and posted it, I decided, I was like, you know, this thing is a pain in the ass and it has way too much wrong with it. It was a bigger project than I had anticipated, and I could have certainly worked on it and done the things I wanted to do. I could have fixed it and made it into a nice vehicle, but I already have projects going on, and you know, the more you stretch yourself out, the less time you have for each individual thing. There's also the money to consider. And thinking about it, I just decided, I was like, you know, I just don't think this thing is worth it. So I listed it for sale. And when I listed it for sale, I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do with the money? What am I going to replace it with? You know, what other toy do I want? For a long time, I've been wanting to get a motorcycle again. But every time I buy a motorcycle, I seem to buy the wrong motorcycle. I had a Honda 1000cc sport bike for a while, and it was way too fast, way too dangerous, way too tempting for me to lose my driver's license. Then I bought a Yamaha WR450F, which was a sick bike, but a little bit sketchy on the road for me. Personally, I'm not a great rider, and having a big, powerful dirt bike on the street, kind of dangerous. It was also registered in Washington, and Oregon has some very particular laws about dirt bikes being plated. And I was concerned I wouldn't be able to register it, so I ended up selling that one too. So when I listed the pickup, I was like, you know, I think I want to buy another dual sport motorcycle. Something a little more tame and reasonable, easy to ride, and hopefully something registered in Oregon. I listed it for sale Saturday night. I went to bed. Sunday morning I woke up and I had so many people interested. I had at least 20 messages on Facebook Marketplace saying, hey, I want to come look at this. Hey, will you take this for it? Hey, will you take that for it? And one of the people who messaged me asked me if I wanted to trade for a 2007 KLX 250 plated dirt bike. And I thought about it for a little while. I thought, you know, kind of rather have the money, but it was pretty much exactly what I was thinking about buying anyways. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'd trade for that. So the guy lived about 2 hours from me, and I fired up the mini truck and I drove 2 hours to his place, and we checked him out. We ended up trading. The KLX 250 had 4,400 miles on it when I picked it up. In the last month, I've already put 1,000 miles on it. I insured it for a year. The insurance on it was super cheap. I already bought an OHV pass for it. I think it's safe to say that that is going to be my new toy for a long time. It's not a project. It doesn't need anything at all. I might do a couple of things to it to kind of modify it and make it better for my personal needs. But like I said, it's really not a project. I took it for a ride last weekend called the PDX Alley Sweeper. It's a big ride yearly here in Portland. A lot of people will take their mini bikes, their dirt bikes, their street legal dirt bikes, and they go ride the alleys and the trails around Portland. I had an absolute blast. It was so much fun. Probably the most fun event I've done in 10 years. I mean, it was truly amazing, incredible. I had a great time. It really reminded me of how much I missed riding motorcycles, how much I missed motorcycle people, motorcycle events. It's just such a positive vibe. It's such a good time. I really, really enjoyed myself, and I pretty much made the decision, like, yeah, I'm doing this again. I'm doing this a lot more. It's gonna be a big part of my lifestyle moving forward to get back into riding motorcycles. For those of you who don't know, I actually grew up riding dirt bikes and racing dirt bikes and riding street bikes with my dad. It was a really big part of who I am and what I've done in the past. Unfortunately, a few years back, my dad passed away in a motorcycle accident, and it really kind of put a dark feeling for motorcycles in my life, and I have a great respect for motorcycles and the danger of riding motorcycles because of that. And every time I threw a leg over that 1000cc sport bike, at some point during the ride, I had a feeling like this thing wants to kill me. It's so dangerous. And the thing I like about the KLX 250 is that I don't ever feel that way on it. It is super tame, it's super mellow. Honestly, it would be a great beginner bike. And even though I'm not a beginner, I really enjoy that sensation of being on something that I can absolutely handle and control, that is not too much, not too powerful, it's not too big, it's easy to ride, and I like that. Yeah, so sorry if you came here specifically for the Nissan mini truck content, but unfortunately it is gone. I will say that I will almost assuredly get another mini truck project in the future. I have already started shopping for one, but I don't know when that's going to happen. It's always kind of a spontaneous thing. In other news, the Sequoia is also gone. I know what you're thinking, but you said you were going to keep that. And I did say that. I say that about most things. But the Sequoia turned out to be just not the deal that I thought it would be. When I financed it, I thought to myself, I can afford this car payment. This car payment is reasonable. I can make the payments, no problem. What I failed to calculate was the other costs involved. Namely the insurance. Insuring a vehicle that you have financed, you're required to have full coverage insurance. That's so that the bank knows that their loan is covered, basically. And full coverage insurance on that vehicle for me was crazy expensive. It was so expensive. And on top of that, the Sequoia being supercharged, of course it didn't get good gas mileage. It got awful gas mileage. We knew that was going to happen. What I failed to calculate is that it also took premium fuel only because of the supercharger. And the fact that it drank it at an alarming rate and only took the most expensive fuel you could possibly buy. Fuel prices are already pretty tough where I live. Man, it just made it so expensive to drive that I basically wasn't driving it. It would stay at my house constantly. I would drive anything other than that because I just couldn't afford to drive it. And then you consider the fact that you're making a payment on it, paying a bunch of extra money in insurance that you can't stop paying as long as it's financed. It just made it unreasonable. Like, what's the point? What is the purpose of spending a bunch of extra money every month to finance this vehicle, to own this vehicle, to insure this vehicle, if I'm not even driving it? If I can't even afford to drive it, that doesn't make any sense to me. So, regrettably, I listed it for sale, and it honestly sold pretty quickly. I sold it for enough to be able to pay off the loan, pretty much get back everything that I was into it, and even make a little smidgen bit of profit on it. Not much, but enough to make me feel like I more than broke even. It didn't really cost me anything to make that decision, and I think that's a win. If you can finance a vehicle, mistakenly realize, oh man, I can't really afford this thing, and then still be able to sell it and not lose any money on it, that's definitely a win in my book. So that's where I'm at now. The only vehicles that I own are the Ute and the dirt bike. And I plan on riding the dirt bike to work a lot more as the summer comes around, the spring comes around. It's kind of a drizzly day today. But this coming week we're supposed to have like 70-degree weather, sunshine. It's supposed to be, we're at the point in Oregon where it should start getting pretty nice out. We should start getting some really nice days and getting into summertime. So looking forward to that. I still have the Ute. That's not going anywhere. It, you know, the one reason that thing never goes anywhere is that honestly, no one would buy it anyways. Like, it's really not worth anything. I have effectively ruined any value that it might have had by turning it into a Ute. And it is such a good, reliable car. I've used it for so long. It just keeps chugging along. It's cheap on gas, it's cheap to insure, cheap to operate. It has fresh tires, everything you could need. So there's really no reason to sell that. It's pretty much all the positives in car ownership without any of the negatives. And yeah, I also really enjoy the dirt bike. And I don't have any intention of getting rid of that anytime soon either. I don't know if I'm going to buy another project soon or not. To be honest, I think, I say this, but it's probably a lie. It would probably be best for me in my life if I were to just focus on the things that I have right now and enjoy them to their most potential. I really enjoy the Ute. I really enjoy the dirt bike. I feel like those are enough things. And I wouldn't mind having more things, but I don't want to stretch myself too thin. And yeah, that's where I'm at. So I do intend to keep making content. I do have a couple of more videos that I want to post in the near future. I'd really like to get a GoPro. I don't have one currently, but I want a GoPro so that I can start to make some content of me going on rides on the motorcycle, film the rides, and post those here. If that's something you want to see, I'd love to hear it in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. I know this video was mostly just me talking. It's probably boring as hell, but I wanted to get an update out there and just kind of let you guys know what's been going on, what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, and where this channel is headed in the future. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And you can also check me out on Instagram at adventure_vehiculous. You can find my Facebook group called Ute All the Cars. And yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks.